It wasn't about motivation. I needed another stable source of income. Most roles within the tech space, the earning potential is really, it's good. It can be life-changing if you are upskilling. 3 kids, I have a household, a husband. One of the ways I avoid burnout is to travel. Rest, breaks, holidays, these are things that I find valuable for my well-being, for my family's well-being, and
Hello,
for us.
my name is LahLah. Welcome to LahLah Land.
Today I want to talk about how I've managed to transition, given that I have a family and it's a little bit more tricky when you have responsibilities, right? It's all things career switching, transitioning, my journey, the emotional experience that I've been having.
Right?
Today, a lot of people in real life have asked me, how have I managed to transition given that I have 3 kids, I have a household, a husband, and I also am responsible, or at least I was responsible for my younger sister. The truth is, with my story, it wasn't about motivation. A lot of it was to do with making smart decisions and sacrifice and implementing structure. A big catalyst to me transitioning was losing my mother. When I lost my mum, I became my younger sister's main caregiver. So it was like a unit of a little network of us helping to raise my sister. My sister was 14 at the time when my mother passed away. And soon after that, I lost my grandfather. This again was a huge blow to our family. Both these people were strong pillars in our household, helping us emotionally, physically, and in some parts financially too. And what that meant is we needed another stable source of income, and having to pay for a funeral, and there are so many other expenses that come with when you lose somebody. Prior to that point, I had been thinking I wanted to get into a new career or go back into work. But being that at the time I was my grandfather's main caregiver when he was old, and when my mum had turned sick, I was looking after her a great deal, a lot. So I had forgotten myself. I wasn't taking care of myself the way I should be. So I had to think strategically. I was thinking maybe rather than freelancing, which is what I was doing prior, work for a company. A little conversation that I had with somebody, and they asked me, what are your plans? And I said, well, I want to go back into work. They asked me what my background is. I said, graphic design. They said, have you considered product design? I said, no, actually, I haven't. So all of that led me down a rabbit hole. I was like, okay, product design. And at the time, I didn't actually know what product design was. I was thinking like packaging, logos. That was the product design I knew growing up when I was studying. Obviously, a lot had changed. And when you say product design, you mean digital product design. So I was like, okay, the earning potential in this is really, really good. And I think that I have a flair for this. And why not tech? Because most roles within the tech space, the earning potential is really, really, it's good. It can be life-changing if you are upskilling, right? Fast forward, I went further down a rabbit hole and went into a technical role, and what I'm doing now is not product design, but what it meant is a lot of late nights and early mornings. There's one thing, learning as you go. As I said, I did a 16-week boot camp. During those 16 weeks, I sacrificed socializing with friends, socializing with my own family. A lot of people were missing me, and I was even missing myself. My husband, our time together was limited. He picked up my slack with the children. So fortunately, when I was doing my 16-week boot camp, it was over the summer period. So we had the 6-week summer holiday, which we have in the UK. My sister's helping me a lot with childcare. It meant a lot of late nights, a lot of early mornings. Fortunately, out of that, I was able to secure a job. So fast forward, I'm into my job and I'm still learning on the job. You never stop learning. Outside of my 9 to 5, I now get home, maybe spend a couple of hours with my family. Then I pick up my laptop again and I'm back into it, trying to pick up on stuff that maybe I didn't quite catch at work. And this was a continual process, even up till today. That's just because I've picked up another program, which we will discuss in the future, I'm sure. But because of that, It meant that less time with my family and needing external support. Obviously, having lost my grandfather and my mum, that was my main network. So really depending on my supportive partner, my supportive husband, to pick up where I may fall short. And obviously, when you do this over a long period of time, what starts to creep in is burnout. And burnout happened so suddenly. Fortunately for me, because I have a family and young children, a lot of the time they will do something or say something that will force you to pause, that will force you to stop in your tracks, because they're like, "Mummy, we need you." One of the ways I avoid burnout is to travel with my family. I get to spend time with them. I get to see the world. I get to see the world through their eyes also. And it's a really great time to set boundaries with work and also reset in those periods, because I'm in a different location, I'm in a different space, I'm not having to make breakfast, I'm not having to make lunch or dinner. You're being waited on, you're being served on, and a change of scenery is always something that I highly recommend. This is very common within British families, and I must say that this is something that I've definitely implemented in my household, is to just take those breaks. And it also gives you something to look forward to, something to be excited about. Even though this allows me to set boundaries with work, I still take my laptop with me. I don't communicate with work like my office, but I would definitely spend that time maybe in the quiet hours on vacation, maybe when people are getting dressed or we're winding down or we're having a chill day in the hotel. I might take my laptop and just do a little bit of studying by the pool. And sometimes that change of scenery, you can take in more information. Your frame of mind is more relaxed and it allows you to take in more information. It's not every day be seated upright at a desk. Sometimes chill with it and relax with it. And that's often the things that I've been able to do with my family. I often like to go abroad, more so because going abroad can sometimes be a lot more affordable than having a staycation. You'd be surprised, these staycation prices and these Airbnbs, especially in the UK, all of a sudden the prices can rack up very quickly. I like the sun. I'm a summer baby. I want to spend my time in a warmer climate. So if you are like myself, somebody who is transitioning or has transitioned, and you haven't been able to incorporate like proper moments of rest to reset so that burnout does not creep in, I would definitely say implementing holidays and vacations. And I think because I have a small family, I've almost had a little bit of guilt when I'm always busy. I'm always tied down to something else, and that's something else not being my family. So traveling becomes a way of trying to make up for the time that we may have lost at home, because even though mummy may have been at home, I may not have necessarily been present. I might be there, but am I really there, because I'm tied down to other things? And especially with the role that I do, it's very technical, and especially those early stages, if you're not on it all the time, like practicing your code, practicing your programming, doing leap codes, doing code wars, even just practicing coding standards or whatever the case may be, you lose it very quickly, especially because that muscle needs to be exercised so much more. And you find yourself sometimes coming up with ideas in the middle of the night and you're like, oh my goodness, I really need to get this idea down before I forget. So rest, breaks, holidays, these are things that I find extremely important and extremely valuable for my well-being, for my family's well-being, and for us to be able to progress. With all of that being said, some people might say, oh, but holidays are expensive, and traveling abroad with a family of 6, because there are 6 of us, myself, my husband, 3 kids and my sister, that's a pretty penny. And you are right, and we will discuss how I plan those things. And I come from a 2-income household, and I'm not the breadwinner, so that makes a huge difference in how we plan our vacations when we do choose to vacation. So for those who are asking, how did I do it and how do I avoid burnout? I travel. I set time aside to make sure that we have something to look forward to within the year, and maybe it's once a year, maybe it's twice a year. It really depends on what our financial plans are for that year coming. And because my weekends, a large part of my weekends are spent studying, I keep my children engaged with their own extracurricular activities. So they tend to be so busy during the days of the weekends, they don't necessarily miss me because they are themselves occupied. But if you do have any more questions or even more insight as to how you've been able to avoid burnout, please share, please comment. Let's have a dialogue, let's talk about this, and maybe share with me some things that you do outside of traveling. I think traveling for me is just like, I wouldn't say it's a guilty pleasure, but it's like my thing. Like some people have their thing. Everybody has a thing that they love, and traveling is definitely one of my things. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening. Like if you haven't done already, give me a thumbs up, all the stuff that you're supposed to do on this app. Anyway, until the next one, bye.